Regiments released in August of last year and has very good reviews. I did not really dive into it back then just to see how it develops, and in this video I will tell you everything you need to know about the game, talk about the most recent update, and explain the future plans for the single player Cold War RTS developed by Bird's Eye Gaming and published by Microprose. I will not give my opinions on the game and only exclusively stick to facts. Now in terms of era and scenario, the game is set in 1989 and is another Cold War gone hot between NATO and the Warsaw Pact. One major thing that Regiments is that it is a single player game only. I've asked a lot of casual RTS players and most of them would rather play a well-made single player campaign than dive into hardcore multiplayer lobbies and become frustrated. At launch, the game will feature a plot-focused single player campaign that consists of several operations that tell you about this theoretical conflict inside Germany. If you launch a game at the moment of writing, you are greeted with the option to playing skirmish battles or take on operations that take place in this fictional conflict. A skirmish match has 3 modes: meeting engagement, which is a classic conquest mode. Both teams will try to capture and hold as many designated zones as possible. The team that reaches the necessary victory point count wins. There's also the attack mode. In this mode you engage dug-in units to try to capture and hold key positions to win, but you will also need to prepare for counterattacks after you succeed. Finally, there is mobile defense. In this game mode you need to use provided transport units to evacuate equipment from the designated zones and return it to the starting zone. Think of this as an evacuation mission. For each mode you can choose from 19 maps, and you can even control if you want to play in the morning, afternoon, evening or night, and even which weather conditions you would like to play in. If you are satisfied with your preferred skirmish mode, map, time of day, weather conditions, etc., you're ready to pick your preferred division. With NATO you can choose out of a list of 17 and 8 with Warsaw Pact, and more to come in the future. One thing that is interesting is the ability to even adjust the accuracy, damage, suppression, etc. of units. Microprose and Bird's Eye Gaming went all in when it comes to customizability. So what about the campaign or operations that you can play? Right now the campaign consists of 7 major missions that span June of 1989, and more chapters have been added with the second wave DLC, which I will detail further. So the second wave DLC released for free on December 24th of last year and added 2 operations. Operation Doctrinal Approach simulates a clash between East Germany and West Germany, while Operation Task Force Mayonaise is a scenario between US mechanized and Soviet forces in the Fulda sector. If you have the base game, you also have this DLC, and the 2 missions will unlock when you complete all 7 previous operations. Besides adding more chapters to the campaign, the DLC also adds 4 new regiments to the game, of which 3 are British and 1 is a West German one. One major new concept is the introduction of companies. Now these are several platoons that are controlled as a single element or a single unit. They will boast a lot of firepower, but they are slow and unwieldy as a downside. What do they mean with this? Well, the units of a company can't be microed as you would like to think. Instead, you give orders to a platoon command, which will be followed up by the subordinate platoons. If the platoon command is routing, the entire company will follow its lead, and besides that, the formation will be limited to line formation when not fast moving. You can have a go at the gameplay with companies if you go to the Doctrinal Approach operations and when playing with the 53rd Heimatschutz Brigade and East German KDA group. Besides that, this recent update added many new units to UK, West Germany and the Warsaw Pact. The game itself is on Steam for €25. Now I mentioned that the community is overwhelmingly positive about the game based on reviews, but there are some things that the community suggested that the developers work on. Now this player here accepted that the game is mainly single player, but suggested that a simply co-op possibility to go through missions together would greatly increase the overall appeal of the game. Another player applauds the nicely composed single player campaign, and this is brought up again and again in these reviews. Pretty much most of the reviews I went through. Now there are obviously also some negative reviews, and one that I think is really important to note is the fact that this game has time limits to battles, even in skirmish, and I do believe that this should also be an option in a game that has this many options already. I should not be limited to 30 minutes when I just want to brawl it out in a skirmish match or whatever I want to do in the game. Another negative review is focused on it only being single player and that multiplayer and micromanagement are really just stripped away, and that nothing really feels innovative here. If this is the game for you, very nice. If it's not, check out this video, the top 8 RTS games that are coming out in 2023 to get a feel of the environment. Now for my opinion, games nowadays lack a well fleshed out single player campaign with well made and thought through missions and storylines. Just think of World in Conflict that I recently played through. To this day, the single player campaign of World in Conflict is one of the best ones ever created, definitely way up there together with Red Alert campaigns. So with that in mind, Regiments was a good move, but only if they improve upon the single player campaign big time. and could appeal to many people that do not want to enter the multiplayer realm and would rather enjoy an exciting single player experience, but with a slight hope for having your friend join you on these adventures. Now in terms of future plans, there are 3 more DLCs in the works that will add the Netherlands, Poland, Canada, France and Czechoslovakia, and also add the ability to create custom operations. However, I do not know if these DLCs will also be free. It does state here that the latest DLC that was released is free, but it doesn't say the same for the next ones, so we'll just have to wait and see. If you want to learn more about regiments, do subscribe because I definitely plan on going through the entire campaign and give my review on the game myself. I'll see you guys back in the next one. One thing I want to note is that I am not sponsored to produce this video. I just wanted to get your attention on regiments and hope that it improves as well.